It's all about leadership. City council and that position that I'm seeking to fill is a leadership position. And I'm a student of leadership. I'm a lifelong student of leadership because I'm the child of a community leader. This is my mom, Marta Pelaez, and she's the CEO of a very important nonprofit here in town that does work with very vulnerable populations. She touches the lives of about 15,000 people a year. And she's been leading ever since I was a little boy. And what I've learned throughout the years is that leadership isn't something you're born with. It's a choice that you make, and it's something that's taught to you, but you choose to be a leader. And it's not something you do to others. You do it with others. And my mom has taught me everything that one can possibly learn about collaboration, about consensus building, and about leading out front and leading out loud. And so I'm really blessed. I know not everybody can be lucky enough to be born and live their entire lives with, a worldwide recognized community leader. But I was born and I was raised by a world-class community leader. And she's sitting right here, and she's kind of a big deal. And I am even more blessed that I've got kids that I got to introduce to my mom and that I get to raise with my mom and that see her lead out front every single day. And so one of the things that I intend to do is I intend to bring a lot of the leadership lessons you taught me to City Council and make sure that we bring to bear a lot of the lessons you've already learned and bring a different communication style to the way that the city does business, right? And so my hope is that that leadership style that I've learned and that I've developed by way of working with my mom is something that will continue to work for those people that I've always served, right? I was on the board for VIA and the Advanced Transportation District and the MPO and Brook City Base. And, as their chairman, I was an executive leader there. And we had to make a lot of really, really tough choices. I was a leader at, Toyota and, a $2 billion project with 4,500 employees these days. And it was very difficult. There were some hard days. And I got to be honest with you, on some of those days, it was you who got me through there, because I remember my mom once had something like this come up, and I did what you did, right?
I remember some of those conversations.
Yeah, and so I'm lucky because I get to actually have leadership conversations with you, and a lot of people pay a lot of money to have an executive leadership coach, but I've got one that makes me some fantastic chicken noodle soup also, and I don't have to pay her anything. But thank you.
What you don't know, and this is a wonderful conversation that we're having right here. What you don't know is that these days, and for some time now, I've been taking cues from you as well, because you have developed into this awesome, wonderful leader, understanding what leadership is. Yeah. That being not necessarily the person that knows it all. That is very contrary to what the applied leader does. It is actually more being in touch with those that you're leading, that accessibility that you have to the people, that quality to be a good listener. You might have an idea. You might have a very wonderful structured vision of what things need to be, but not until you check in with those that are going to be following you. You will further design that vision. Having the pulse of the city in your hands, it's an awesome responsibility.
Yeah.
It is an incredible responsibility. So humility, that will feed that passion, those are very important elements. Equally important as the experience that you may have acquired, as the expertise that you may have acquired, but above all, as I have said to you and your brother and your sister and with your father, we have given you these pearls throughout your lives. integrity and ethics. Because the person that you go with to bed, the last thing that you listen to is that internal voice that says, I was congruent with my principles. And as difficult as it may have been, I did the right thing.
So, every night I go to sleep and I talk to my kids and I tell them the exact same things you told me growing up. And that is, leadership requires you to do three things only, right? And you're smiling because I think you know what I'm going to say, but leadership requires you to help and step up to the plate wherever and whenever you can, right? Number two, to lead by doing important things that matter, right? And then number three, not letting anybody distract you, right, from doing number one and number two. That's not hard. That's not hard to say, but gosh, it's really hard to do.
It's very difficult.
And what I've discovered over the years in a lot of these different executive leadership positions that I've been in the nonprofit and the for-profit world is that there is no abundance of people out there there's no shortage of people out there wanting to distract you from doing the right thing all the time and distract you from doing those things that matter.
And the very issues are distracting because you might have designed them in your mind as being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then they have this myriad of other issues attached to it that you had not envisioned. So that is why you need to understand that accessibility to those people, to the people that you'll be leading, is important. It's critical. And that very intelligent dance that you have to do between being with the people, being among the people, and calling them your colleagues, that I think is a quality that many leaders forget. Leaders think that are called to lead, they think that leading means stepping up to the highest step of the pedestal, so where they cannot be touched, they cannot be reached. A good leader is always in touch, hand in hand with those that he or she leads. When you lose that quality, you no longer are either a good leader or a leader at all.
It's funny, I remember somebody once saying, a leader is the one that's always out there advocating for the people and working for the people and doing things on behalf of the people. And what you taught me and what I've seen you do your entire life, and I try to do it too, is to remind people that no, a leader is one of the people, right? I'm a people too, right? And
the voice of those that you lead. Your name might be the one in front, your face might be the one in front, but you are representing, and that is where that humility and that honorific situation comes from. It's always an honor to speak on behalf of. That's why it's so important to say what is the truth.
So one of the things I struggle with lately, I'll tell you, this is something that's very frustrating that a lot of us are watching, is we're living through a time where experience and expertise seem to not be important to people anymore. And where we actually celebrate not knowing things, and where we celebrate amateurism, over lifetimes of time spent working on an issue or studying an issue. And so, during this political season, especially in this race for council, one of the things that, I keep bumping up against is promises that politicians make that they know something and that they have a great idea. But very rarely do you actually hear people say, not only do I know something and I have a really great idea, but I've actually carried out on those ideas, right? And so how do you, as a leader, separate out the noise from the actual substance, right?
Like you said, it sounds very easy, but I'm going to be very simplistic in what I'm going to say. If you never lose sight of the fact that the decisions that you are making are going to impact real lives, that whatever decisions are being made or being imposed on you, giving you responsibilities, are going to impact children who will be parents tomorrow. So I'm talking about the generational. It's not just whatever is decided right now. It doesn't end that way. And hence the irresponsibility of some of these people that go out and say, I will do this, I will do, or I have done that. The empty promises.
One of the things that I want to tell you is that whenever I go and I talk to people around the neighborhoods, and whenever I'm talking to different community groups or business groups or city employees or county employees, what I keep coming up against is this hunger that they have for genuine leadership. Not just somebody that knows what they're talking about, has actually accomplished those things that they talk about, and has expertise, but they're looking for authenticity. And that's where I think I've benefited the most from you, right? I mean, a lot of these things that I know, I went to school for, right? And a lot of those things that I've done and I've accomplished, they're technical things, right? I mean, I've worked on transit and traffic and infrastructure and job creation and water issues and neighborhoods. But authenticity is something that comes easy to me because I really am passionate about this stuff. I guess my question for you is, where did I get that? Where does one get the authenticity? Because I mean, for me, it's just, I love doing it. But I've always seen you be so authentic when you lead that there's no doubt in people's minds that what you say is what you mean, and what you mean is what you're going to do.
I think it comes from being principled. And I think that that is what a good number of the so-called leaders today are missing. You need to be principled. You need to be anchored on a set of moral and ethical values. For when that's a pond from which you will continue to draw. And another important aspect of leading is never to forget that you're setting an example for people too. So there is that added responsibility.
Right. Yeah.
It's not just your children that are watching. Just like what you're saying about other leaders, children will be learning from how you lead, your authenticity, your principles, your passion, your sincerity, your accessibility to people, your how you meet your challenges, how you meet your failures. I mean, this is life.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone that promises nothing but accomplishments at 100% rate of success is not telling the truth, right?
Yeah, that's true.
That's where those principles.
Yeah. San Antonio is lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you very much. San Antonio would be very lucky having you.
Thank you.
Yes. And if San Antonio and people in District 8 take the time to really, as I think they might, take the time to really get educated as to how different you are, how contrasting you are with everybody else, they'll do the right thing. San Antonio deserves you, really.
Thank you.